$390,000 in 6 months. This is how much we generated for a jewelry online company that before we started working together, they made only $60,662. Their goal was to make multiple 6 figures in profit. And because I noticed that they have some kind of proof of concept, the products that they have has some potential, I onboarded them as a client. And we started off with Facebook ads, but eventually we also added TikTok as a platform for running ads and for scaling this brand. Now, this is exactly what I did step by step to achieve this kind of result. So buckle up, take a piece of paper, and let's get started. The first thing that I did is I started conducting the product research. This is so important and I cannot stress this enough. Even if I'm into the jewelry space and I have lots of videos on my channel all related to this niche, this particular brand had quite a proprietary product and spoke to a very specific customer avatar. Basically, when you want to market your jewelry brand, you must become what I call a jewelry brand expert. You have to know everything about the product itself in and out. Now, why this is so critical? Well, because now after this research, you can convey better the message, your creatives, to that audience. You can literally cover their biggest desires, their biggest concerns in a much more resonating way. You can handle their objections instantly, solely because you know that product so well. The second thing that I did was the customer research. Now again, because every brand is different, the customer that we're going after will be different as well. There is never such a thing, one size fits all. How intimate you know your customer will dictate how successful your ad campaigns are going to be. Now, your question will be, okay, Archie, I understand how important is this customer research, but how do I effectively make this? Now, there are a couple of tools that I would look into. Number one, look at the tag posts from people who are tagging your products, because what you'll notice is that people who actually tag your posts, they took the time, they posted on their social media page, which transforms them into kind of like some kind of big fans of your brand. You'll also notice some interesting patterns. For example, the way they comment, the way they talk, their description, what are they saying in those posts. Also pay attention to the model, because most likely they will look like your ideal customer. So now you could take that feedback, you could take that insight and use that as some kind of informative tool to use or to find some other models who look like your ideal customers for your next creatives. You see, people who look like your ideal customers will relate at a much deeper level, and you will see a much higher conversion rate from those particular posts or from those ads. Number two, I would look at the competitors' reviews. So I would go to their website and I would read every single review, both the good and the bad ones. They'll offer equities on what people dislike and like about your brand and about your products. What is vital here is to not overlook the negative feedback. You want to take all the negative information from people who comment or from people who leave like a bad review and go back to your business and improve your product. Because at the end of the day, what matters is to offer actually a good product. If you take the time and if you handle all the objections that your customers might have and you cover all the problems that people have, their next logical step is simply to go ahead and purchase. Because you see, people love to buy. So just let them buy. Number three, I would look at two tools, which are Reddit and Quora. Go to those platforms and type something like jewelry, or why do people buy jewelry? What you'll find out is different opinions from people who are into jewelry. These people are kind of like your ideal customers. And what you will notice is that some different desires that they are trying to get out of buying like jewelry in this case. This can be very insightful for your brand, because you can find out different emotional desires, different dream outcomes that then afterwards you could use in your advertising campaigns. And you have to remember that People usually don't buy jewelry because of its functionality. They buy it because of some kind of emotional dream outcome. Usually I found that it's attracting the opposite gender who are feeling much more confident. So now after the product and customer research, the next thing that we'll need to do is to pick one particular customer persona that fits the most the product design that we are trying to sell. This is something that a lot of jewelry business owners neglect. You see, if you are trying to sell, let's say, bold jewelry, this is kind of like the type of jewelry that you're selling, you cannot put a product design that is more inclined to elegant jewelry because it just simply does not match the client's preferences. So based on your product design, you'll be able to pull off like this one customer persona that we were talking about. And in fact, one customer persona is going to be enough, especially if your business does not make even $1 million per year. Now, if you expand and you get your point that your business makes more than $1 million per year, you could go and look into like the second, the third customer persona. But until then, just don't worry about it and focus only on one single customer persona. Moving on, the next thing that I did for this jewelry brand to accomplish $390,000 in 6 months, we started bridging the gap between their current situation where they're facing with problems like styling misconceptions, authenticity, and others, and we showed them also the desired situation that they are trying to get to. For example, for this brand, what I found after the research, something that we talked and I emphasized so much, is that people buy solely because it passes the diamond tester and it increases their status in front of their peers, in front of their friends. So guess what? I recommended to this particular client that, hey, let's make sure that we have some visuals where we present our product in such a way that it passes the diamond tester. And guess what? It converted like crazy because we gave exactly what our ideal customers are trying to strive to get to and exactly what they kind of need. Now, next is market saturation. This particular brand had kind of like an advantage because we haven't noticed that much of the competition, so that was a huge advantage for this particular company. Solely because our ideal customer wasn't exposed that much to this type of jewelry and they just had quite a proprietary product. Now I understand that for the majority of jewelry brands it's quite difficult to differentiate your jewelry brand from your competitors. So here are 3 recommendations that I would give to a jewelry business owner if you would like to kind of put your product in a spot where you have much more advantage when it comes to kind of converting your customers from the standpoint of this brand kind of like is different. First method is to add a new instrument or a new tool that gives hope to your ideal customers. You see, your customers have already tried different things in the past and it might not work, like it probably broke or whatever that happened. They had a bad experience. So to overcome this, you need to introduce a new tool, a new mechanism that kind of gives that hope back to their minds. The second method is to create an identity. I'm a strong believer in kind of creating identities for brands. You see, if you create an identity, you could differentiate yourself instantly and you position yourself as the authority of that particular identity. Let me explain how this works. Think about it. If I simply say in my message, in my marketing message, that this jewelry is for everybody, well, then in that case, I kind of look like any other jewelry brand. But if I say, for instance, that this jewelry is for fit men or for modern men, but ones who see themselves as modern men, they can resonate and relate with that brand at a much deeper level. And because they cannot find other brands who kind of match their identity, match their personality, they would not have a choice rather than just going with your brand. Now I get this objection from time to time. Okay, Archie, but if I do this, then I will shrink significantly my audience. Look, that's true, but as I mentioned above, if your jewelry business does not make even $1 million per year, then you do not need to be concerned about that. Because honestly, you cannot even fathom, but your market is quite huge even with an identity. Once you start making more than $1 million per year, then you can think about going to, talk to the second persona and the third one, and moving on to the other ones. But until then, just don't worry about that. And now the third way to differentiate your jewelry brand instantly, and this is something that a lot of jewelry business owners do not even think about it. And when I tell them that we need to use them, they just tell me that they've never thought about it. So this is pretty much, you offer the next solution that is going to overcome their next problem once they got your product. You see, every problem will be replaced by another problem. For example, if I buy your jewelry right now, my next problem will be to educate myself on how to style those jewelry or how to take better care of the jewelry. So what you can do, you can introduce kind of like a new product that will help them overcome those future perceived problems. You could also leverage blogs or posts where you can educate further your audience on the different things related to jewelry. Now, what is happening right now is that not only that you are removing some of the objections your customers might have, you are adding value. You are adding so much value to your next potential customers that they just find themselves in a spot where every single thing that comes up in their mind is simply to go and build a strong relationship with your brand and stay with you loyal for a very long time. Alrighty, now once you understand these fundamentals, but you still want to delegate your Facebook ads to a specialized person like me, I would invite you to follow the link down below. I'm running Facebook ads for jewelry companies and I have a track record for this particular industry. So if you'd like to find out more, click on the link down below. Thanks for being here. I appreciate your time. And as usual, Archie was here and I am cheering you on.